Hello, today I am back. I had, it's snowing like hell outside, so I got the day off from school, which is fantastic. So I have nothing to do all day essentially, and I decided I would review the latest DVD I watched, which is MLW's King of Kings show from Fort Lauderdale, Florida in 2002. Now, to start off this show, to start off this review, let me just say that there was something wrong with the sound on this show. That you didn't hear them bumping all the time, which actually, believe it or not, takes away from the match. When you hear it too much and when you don't hear it enough, it takes away from the match. And you couldn't hear the fans, which also took away. Only when they were screaming, you could hear them faintly. So that's not a good thing, but whatever. The lighting, the rest of the production was fine. The lighting was good and everything. So let us just get to this. First match we had Nosawa and Masada versus Hot Commodity, and this was a good opener. I mean, it was mostly Masada getting worked on the whole match, but it wasn't a boring getting worked on. If you know what I'm saying, it was more like it was fun double teams, cool double teams, and then at the end when Nosawa gets tagged in, he goes nuts. He's taking everyone down, and then it's just nice back and forth for about 5 minutes, and then Easy Money, I think, gets the win, and so that was a nice match to start off the show. I was after this match, I said, "Dang, the show might be really good." And then oh, one other thing. There were a lot of promos in this show, and let me just say, the promos in this show were fantastic. They were very good. There were only two bad promos all night, and one of them was Mike Awesome because he honestly can't cut a promo for his life, and the other bad promo was I don't remember. Hmm. Well, there were only two bad promos that I remember. The rest were all very good. So anyway, the next match was Christopher Daniels versus Super Dragon versus Fuego Guerrero, and Fuego Guerrero's amazing red. They mentioned that. They mentioned that because the fans were chanting red, red, red. And this match, even though I thought these three guys could work, I said give them a little time and they'll work a great match. They'll work not a great match, but a very good match. And they gave them time, but it just didn't work. There were some okay spots, and the spots they did were cool, but it was just like everything in between the spots was slow. They didn't sell very well. Just wasn't very good. Okay, so then the next match was Steve Williams and PJ Friedman versus Jimmy Yang and Mike Sanders. Now, this match beforehand, they had cut a promo with Steve Williams, Dr. Death, for those of you who don't know, training PJ Friedman, which I thought was a very good promo. Dr. Death is awesome, but unfortunately, he was old by this point in time, and he couldn't move. And PJ Friedman was fat, and he couldn't move, and he didn't bump very well. And so, even though Jimmy Yang and Mike Sanders were good workers, they couldn't save this match much. It just didn't work out. Next, we had. Oh, and all these tag team matches are actually part of a tournament to crown tag team champions. Okay. And then the next match is Los Maximos versus Simon Diamond and C.W. Anderson. Now, this match I felt a little bad for. It wasn't very good, but the fans were shitting all over this match. They Before I mentioned you couldn't hear the sound, you heard the sound here. They were booing like crazy. They did not like this match. It really, 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 really took away from the match. It hurt it a lot. They were just booing throughout the whole thing. And I mean, I know they had a reason to boo. It wasn't very good, but it wasn't bad either. I thought it was decent at least. So I don't know what was up with that. Next we had Sabu versus La Parka, and when these two came out, they pretty much just said, this show is not going very well. We are going to deliver a brawl so that even if the rest of the show sucks, fans will remember this. And they did. This was very cool. They brawled everywhere, but it wasn't like a TNA brawl around the arena. It was more, it was like an ECW match. It was cool though. I mean, Sabu threw La Parka into the fans and knocked someone off his chair. He stabbed him with scissors and it ripped his mask. We saw most of La Parka's face. They were diving everywhere. It was great. I mean, Sabu I just botched my words. Sabu botched a bunch of things, but he always. It's not a big deal. It wasn't. And La Parka did a good job of covering up. La Parka is a very good wrestler. So this big thumbs up to this MLW, even though you don't even exist anymore. So I don't know why I'm saying that, but very good match. And next was Jerry Lynn versus Mike Awesome. And this match, it was good. It was okay. I wasn't bored at all. It was fun. But considering how awesome, no pun intended, how awesome these two guys are, slash were, it should have been better. But it was still good. And then afterwards, Jerry Lynn lost, and Christopher Daniels comes out, and he cuts a promo saying, Jerry, you've been losing all the time. What's happening to you? And so he's like, you have to follow me, blah, blah, blah. And Jerry Lynn goes, I just have one thing to say to you. And the fans are like, oh, yes, he's going to slap him or something. And then he's like, no, I'm going to join your little posse. Well, I'm going to join you. So then Joey Styles freaks out. He was commentating this whole thing. Joey Styles, he freaks out, blah, blah, blah. Jerry Lynn and Christopher Daniels are now a faction, mini faction. Next was Dusty Rhodes versus Terry Funk versus Steve Corino. In this match, the match sucked because, I mean, Rhodes and Funk couldn't really move that well. But the promos building up to it were so good. All three guys cut very, very good promos. And as you would expect, they're all very good promo men. And if Dusty and Terry Funk had been more in their prime, I would have think this would be awesome, but it wasn't. And then near the end, CW Anderson and Simon Diamond came out and attacked Rhodes and Funk, getting Corino the win. And then this took forever, where they had Rhodes and Funk beat up Corino, and then Corino got the advantage and blah blah blah. And then Diamond, Anderson, and Corino did a pose at the top of the stage. Then they went backstage and they cut a promo saying how they're the Extreme Horsemen, which I thought was good. Yeah. And then we had this promo by this was the other bad promo on the show. Vampiro cut a terrible promo. It was just bad. And I don't like Vampiro anyway, especially since reading Chris Jericho's book. I mean, I know that has nothing to do with his wrestling, but still. And I don't really think he was that great, especially not by 2002 when this took place. He wasn't as good anymore. And they had the World Heavyweight Championship was with Satoshi Kojima versus Vampiro. This match sucked. They had no idea how to tell a story in any way, shape, or form. It was like you were playing a SmackDown vs. Raw video game. It was like they were just hitting random moves. They had no idea how to tell a story. They were just hitting random moves and suplexes. It didn't make any sense. There was and Kojima just kind of won out of nowhere, and it was like, that's it? You fucking left me with that? What the fuck? It was just bad. And then Mike Awesome came out, and Awesome bombed him through a table, which was nice. But anyway, this show was bad. Honestly, besides Sabu and La Parka and the opener, there wasn't much else worth noticing. So I wouldn't recommend buying this show. I would recommend trying to find Sabu versus La Parka because that match was very good. But besides that, nothing else. And I hope to make some new videos soon. Peace.